Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of our coverage you can count on of the primaries for Georgia tonight. And joining us now is George Eskola, senior reporter here, and I'm Dee Griffin, and we're glad you could join us here on social media to talk about the races for today. This was really big. George, you've been covering politics locally for a very long time. We're not going to give the numbers, perhaps.
Since the early 90s, I think it'd be safe to say.
Yeah, and I'm an Augustan. I'm born and raised here, so we've been covering this, and I've covered it for years with you, off and on or whatnot. And this is for the mayor's race here is one of the most hotly contested, would you say? It's been a long time since we've seen something like this with a long list of candidates.
9 candidates, really almost unprecedented.
Yeah.
In fact, I had one voter today tell me she thought it was too many candidates running.
It's hard to choose.
And there's no power of the incumbency. This is the Mayor Davis term limited, so it's open. So we got the candidates here. 9 candidates. Hannah Hassan with some political experience. Robert Ingram has been around for as long as we have.
He's run for a lot of offices.
He's run for a lot of offices, always wants to get out there.
Donald Bradshaw, he has a military background, and he has spoken out about the things he wants to see and change in the city government. And then we have Garnett Johnson, who's a political newcomer, but he's backed by, the old guard, Charles Walker. So that's a heavy presence for him.
Lucas Johnson is the youngest candidate in the race. And Stephen Kendrick, well known, has been on many a ballot, a tax commissioner, former tax commissioner. Probably when qualifying started was the favorite.
Okay. And then do you think that shifted a lot towards, say, Garnett Johnson because he backed his own campaign and put his own money in?
Well, I think that Johnson got his name out there, and Kendrick stumbled a little bit, and I don't know if this, then we have Lori Miles, Dr. Miles, who's been ran for the mayor before, has run for county commission before, then Marion Williams, a 4-time commissioner, District 9, which makes up 4 districts, that's half the city. So Marion Williams is a vote getter. He can bring some votes in.
And he's backed by heavy hitter Bob Young, former mayor of Augusta and former news anchor here at WJBF. So, I mean, several of the candidates are backed by some significant names and power brokers in the city. And if, say, Garnett Johnson wins, that's going to say a lot about that old guard of the Charles Walker. He's a former senator, and he served time, and now he's back. And this will say a lot about him getting back out there and being able to sort of control the political scene locally. So this is going to be very interesting.
Johnson has that, but he also has, he is seen as the outsider.
Right.
And though there's no incumbent, that has sort of fallen on Kendrick. And is this election going to be, there's a Garnett out there campaigning today, is this going to be an election where, okay, status quo's good, I like Kendrick, I like Marion Williams, or is it throw the bums out election, and that would help people like Garnett Johnson?
Right. A lot of people don't want the same old, so they're fearing that after the missteps of the current mayor, they don't want the same thing, so they're saying, okay, let's start afresh. But then you have several other newcomers who may be pulling up the rear and might pose a surprise here.
They will get votes.
They will get votes.
And that will be because of the Georgia threshold of 50+1.
Right.
That's why I think many people are looking to a June runoff between the top 2 vote getters today, because of the 10 candidates all have some support.
Right. And the third person who's coming into the picture here is Marion Williams. Like you said, 4 districts under him, under his commission. And he's a strong candidate here. He is he's knowledgeable about local government. When it comes to knowing what he's doing, a lot of people say, hey, he's the one here. And they see him as a political insider, but an outsider because he's campaigned on, the mayor of the people, so to say.
Well, 16 years experience, but he'd be seen as an outsider in a way, a change agent. Marion Williams has this. There are people that will come and vote for him who love him. He's also, on the other hand, there are people that will go vote against him.
Right,
so
because we know
I asked Marion about being a lightning rod, and he said there's nothing he can do about that. but he knows a lot of people do like him. He knows he loves Augusta and he wants to work to improve the city. So he has supporters out there. Just how many we will see today.
And he's a big, strong advocate, as is several of the several of the candidates of really developing South Augusta. That's been a hot topic among the candidate forums out there, is that development of South Augusta, and there are some promises out there to develop South Augusta. And this was a big one for this campaign. Also, homelessness, that was a big issue for this campaign. A lot of the mayoral candidates faced questions about the homelessness as well. So there are some topics out there that will really pull people in one way or another.
And two of the races, the contested races, are, you would call South Augusta District 2 and District 6.
And District 2 has how many? 6 people?
6 candidates running there. And Dee, you know, in District 2, it's name recognition and it's retail politics out there. You don't do TV commercials. You go to events, you go to forums, you go on street corners, you shake some hands. Ray Montana, Black Lives Matter, has got name recognition. Charles Cummings has run before. Ralph Gunter, retired firefighter. Vaughn Pouncey, I've had people tell me, because she's had the name recognition of running before, maybe have the slight edge out there. And Stacey Polium, another person that is sort of has really energized people. That another one people are going to say, watch out for that one.
And this is going to be a very interesting one. I've had several people tell me that District 2, we will definitely see a runoff here because, like you said, the name recognition. So that will be a close one to watch. And you mentioned District 6 as well. That's going to be a very interesting one as well, because you have an incumbent against.
Well, District 2 and 6, no incumbents.
No incumbents, that's
so,
right.
yeah, Ben Hassan and Dennis Williams are
and Ben
term
Hassan,
limited. So
he is term limited.
And here's District 6, that's Ben Hassan, who's term limited.
But the issue with this one will be the lack of name recognition.
Correct.
Jeremy Johnson, I think, is from Philadelphia. He has come into the community and he's really helped out in the community, and he's been, you know, on social media really campaigning out there. Tony Lewis, Mario Taylor Sr. This will be one where a lot of people are like, well, who? But they will get to know them person, I'm sure.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. People I've talked to call this too close to call, because they really haven't seen any one of these candidates really emerge as the clear favorite yet. So, and that, with 3 candidates, a runoff possibly there too.
That's right. So we have another very interesting one with incumbent John Clark. And then we have Robert Cooks, who has run before. This is Super District 10. And then Wayne Guilfoyle, who was a former commissioner. So this is going to be interesting.
John Clark, the incumbent, never afraid to be on TV.
No.
Excellent name recognition. Robert Cooks, Planning Commission member. Has run before, ran in District 3, I believe, last time. And Wayne Guilfoyle served 2 terms out of District 8. Now, this is super districts, so these are Districts 3, 7, 6, and 8. Does Guilfoyle's name stretch past District 8? Does he get into these other hill districts of 7 and 3? That's what people will be watching. Clark can and has already won this district, so he might have an edge there. Plus, he's the incumbent. People sometimes just look at that by the name and vote the incumbent.
Right, and that's interesting. And you know, when you say things like that, my son, when we were voting today, he looked at the incumbent. He's 11 years old, so it's like, how do you know, who to choose? He's like, look at the eye, look at the eye. I'm like, you've got to go deeper than that. But a lot of people say they want the incumbent back in there. But then you have a Wayne Guilfoyle who's been the incumbent before. Will these 4 years of being off the commission hurt or help?
And that will be good to see. Is that, has Clark angered enough voters, or has rallied voters?
Right.
And do they do you change horses in midstream? Is his first of a possible 2 terms there? So we'll have to see how the voters in District 10 respond to that.
Do you think we're going to go way into the night in this counting, or do you think we're going to be done by, say, 11 or 12?
2 words.
2 words.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not, yes, because we don't want to be
We don't want to go later than that, no.
But we do know that runoffs, that's another sort of 2 words there, runoff.
Well, it's actually 1 word, I think.
1 word with a hyphen. We're going to have runoffs in the mayoral race in a couple of districts, so we will see.
Yes.
So we thank you for joining us. We are here at the top and bottom of every hour, so come back to social media as we progress through the night. We will have numbers for you as well, and we'll have more analysis of what's going on with our local politics, so stay tuned.